Welcome back, beautiful soul. This is Elena, and I'm so honored you're here with me for our Integration Sunday. If you experienced yesterday's DNA activation portal, I want you to take a moment right now to place your hand on your heart and simply acknowledge the courage it took to step into that transformation. I've been receiving messages from so many of you sharing what you felt during the activation. Some of you experienced tingling throughout your entire body. Others felt emotional releases that seemed to come from nowhere. Many of you reported vivid dreams, shifts in your energy, even physical sensations you couldn't quite explain. And some of you felt confused. Let me hold space for that confusion, because it's not just normal, it's sacred. When your DNA begins to remember codes that have been dormant for lifetimes, your conscious mind doesn't always know how to process what's happening. Your body is literally rewiring itself to accommodate frequencies you haven't carried in this lifetime, and sometimes in many lifetimes. But here's what I want you to understand. That confusion often comes from a very specific place. It comes from the tension between who you have always been and who you are becoming, between the talents that flow through your genetic lineage like a river, and the new territories your soul is calling you to explore. I need to share something personal with you. In my own awakening journey, after my death experience and genetic transformation, I found myself caught between two worlds. For 3 lifetimes, I had been a healer, a medicine woman, someone who worked with plant spirits and ancient healing technologies. These abilities were so strong in my DNA that even as a child in this lifetime, I could see auras, communicate with plants, and knew things about people's health just by being near them. But my soul contract for this lifetime was different. I was called to bridge ancient wisdom with quantum science, to translate shamanic knowledge into language that modern minds could understand, to become a teacher and communicator, not just a healer working with individuals in sacred ceremony. For years, I felt torn. Part of me believed I was betraying my ancestral gifts by moving into this new role. The healer in me felt like I was abandoning my true calling. But what I discovered changed everything. I wasn't abandoning my gifts. I was being asked to evolve them. This is what we're exploring today. How to honor the incredible talents, abilities, and powers that flow through your ancestral DNA, while simultaneously embracing the evolutionary leap your soul came here to make. How to access codes from your lineage that will actually support your new mission, rather than keep you trapped in old patterns. Because here's the truth. Your ancestors didn't develop those abilities just for their own lifetimes. They developed them so that you could inherit them and use them in service of something even greater. Your grandmother's intuitive gifts weren't meant to make you a replica of your grandmother. They were meant to give you psychic abilities that you could apply to whatever field you're meant to transform. Today, we're going to journey deep into your ancestral lineage, not to find out who you used to be, but to discover what powers you inherited to support who you're becoming. We're going to activate specific genetic codes that have been waiting for this exact lifetime, this exact moment, to come online. And most importantly, we're going to heal the part of you that feels guilty for evolving beyond what came before. Because evolution isn't betrayal. Evolution is the highest form of honoring your ancestors' gifts. Take a deep breath with me. Feel your connection to every generation that came before you. Feel their strength in your bones, their wisdom in your blood, their dreams alive in your DNA, and feel them cheering you on as you prepare to become something they could only dream of becoming. Close your eyes and journey with me now into the vast library of your genetic inheritance. Imagine that you can travel backwards through time, following the golden thread of your DNA as it weaves through generations of your family line. But we're not looking at the stories you know. We're not visiting the relatives you met or the family history you've been told. We're going deeper, into the soul patterns that have been repeating through your lineage. The gifts that have been passed down not just genetically, but energetically. As you travel back through time, notice the souls who keep appearing in different forms throughout your family tree. The same essence, wearing different faces, expressing similar talents in different eras. These are your core ancestral archetypes, the primary energy signatures that your soul has chosen to incarnate through, lifetime after lifetime. Some of you will see the healer, the one who worked with herbs, with energy, with the mysteries of life and death. In one lifetime, she was a village medicine woman. In another, a nurse during wartime. In another, a mother who seemed to know exactly what her children needed before they even asked. This healing energy has been building, lifetime after lifetime, creating stronger and stronger psychic abilities, deeper intuitive knowing, more powerful energetic healing gifts. Others will see the creator, the artist, the musician, the one who channeled beauty into form. In one lifetime, he painted cave walls. In another, she composed music that moved entire kingdoms to tears. In another, he built structures that seemed to defy the laws of physics. This creative force has been accumulating power through your lineage, developing abilities to manifest, to bring visions into reality, to create beauty that transforms consciousness. Some will recognize the leader, the one who gathered people, who spoke truth, who shifted the direction of entire communities. In one lifetime, she was a tribal chieftain. In another, he was a revolutionary who changed political systems. In another, she was a teacher who awakened minds. This leadership energy has been developing gifts of influence, of vision, of the ability to inspire others to remember their own power. Others will see the mystic, the one who could travel between worlds, who spoke with spirits, who held the keys to hidden knowledge. In one lifetime, he was an oracle. In another, she was a keeper of ancient texts. In another, he was the one people came to when they needed to understand the mysteries of existence. This mystical lineage carries codes for accessing higher dimensions, for receiving divine guidance, for understanding the invisible laws that govern reality. And some will recognize the bridge walker, the one who could move between different worlds, different cultures, different ways of being. In one lifetime, she was a translator who helped tribes communicate. In another, he was a merchant who brought new ideas across continents. In another, she was the peacemaker who could see all sides of every conflict. This bridge-walking energy has been developing abilities to synthesize, to innovate, to create something entirely new by combining what already exists. Take a moment to feel which of these archetypal energies resonates most strongly in your body right now. Don't think about it. Feel it. Your DNA recognizes its own signature. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Feel into the primary talent or ability that has been strongest throughout your lineage. The gift that seems to appear in every generation, in some form. Maybe it's healing. Maybe it's artistic creation. Maybe it's leadership. Maybe it's mystical sight. Maybe it's the ability to bridge different worlds. Feel how strong this gift is in your DNA. Feel how naturally it flows through you, even when you're not consciously accessing it. This is your ancestral inheritance. This is what you came in knowing how to do. But now, also feel into what your soul is being called toward in this lifetime. What new territory is your consciousness exploring? What feels edgy, uncertain, outside your comfort zone, but absolutely magnetic? And notice if there's tension between these two things. Notice if part of you feels like you should stay in the lane of your ancestral gifts, while another part of you feels called towards something completely different. This tension is not a problem to be solved. This tension is a creative force to be harnessed. Because you weren't given those ancestral gifts to repeat the past. You were given them to evolve the future. The healer who feels called to business isn't abandoning her healing gifts. She's being asked to heal entire economic systems. The artist who feels drawn to science isn't betraying his creativity. He's being called to bring artistic vision to scientific innovation. The leader who wants to step back and focus on inner work isn't shirking responsibility. She's being asked to lead from a place of such deep spiritual connection that her very presence transforms everyone around her. Your ancestral codes aren't meant to define your path. They're meant to power your evolution. Now we're going to activate the specific codes that bridge your ancestral gifts with your evolutionary calling. This is sacred technology, and your DNA has been waiting for this moment. See yourself standing in a vast hall of light, where representatives from every generation of your lineage are gathered. They're not here to tell you what to do. They're here to offer you their gifts in service of what you came here to create. The ancestor who is a master healer steps forward and places her hands on your heart. Feel healing abilities downloading into your cellular structure. But notice that they're not the same healing abilities she had. They're evolved, upgraded. If she worked with herbs, you might work with sound frequency. If she worked with touch, you might work with energy fields. If she worked with individuals, you might heal through technology that reaches millions. Feel these healing codes integrating into your system, but in service of your unique mission in this lifetime. The ancestor who is a visionary artist approaches and touches your third eye. Feel creative abilities awakening in your consciousness. But again, notice the evolution. If he painted on canvas, you might create with light and sound. If she sculpted stone, you might sculpt consciousness itself. If he told stories around fires, you might craft narratives that reshape entire belief systems. These creative codes are not asking you to become an artist in the traditional sense. They're giving you the ability to bring artistic vision to whatever field you're meant to transform. The ancestor who is a natural leader places her hand on your throat chakra. Feel leadership abilities activating, but see how they've evolved. If she led through force, you might lead through inspiration. If he gathered people in physical spaces, you might gather souls across digital dimensions. If she changed laws, you might change consciousness itself. These leadership codes aren't demanding that you become a traditional leader. They're empowering you to lead the revolution in whatever field calls to your soul. The ancestor who is a bridge between worlds touches your crown chakra. Feel the ability to synthesize, to innovate, to create something entirely new by combining different elements. This code is especially powerful in our current era, where evolution happens through integration. If you're feeling called to combine science with spirituality, these codes activate. If you're meant to bridge ancient wisdom with modern technology, these codes come online. If your mission involves helping people navigate transitions between old and new paradigms, this ancestral gift becomes your superpower. But here's the most important activation: the code that allows you to honor your lineage while freeing yourself from its limitations. Feel a golden light surrounding your entire genetic structure. This light is dissolving any programming that says you have to repeat patterns from the past. It's clearing the guilt about evolving beyond what your family line has done before. It's releasing the fear that you're betraying your heritage by becoming something new. Your ancestors are not asking you to be like them. They're asking you to be what they made possible. Every challenge they faced, every skill they developed, every limitation they transcended, it was all in service of creating the genetic foundation that you needed to do something unprecedented. Feel this truth settling into every cell of your body. You're not here to repeat the past. You're here to fulfill the future that the past was building toward. Now, see a new light beginning to emanate from your DNA. This is not ancestral light. This is evolutionary light. This is the frequency of who you're becoming, informed by where you came from, but not limited by it. Feel your ancestral gifts beginning to reconfigure themselves in service of this new frequency. The healing abilities start to express in new ways. The creative gifts find unprecedented outlets. The leadership qualities begin to manifest through entirely new methods. The mystical sight begins to perceive possibilities that previous generations couldn't even imagine. You are becoming the fulfillment of your ancestors' highest dreams and your soul's deepest calling, integrated into something that has never existed before. Feel the power of this integration flowing through your entire being. You are no longer torn between past and future. You are the bridge that transforms inherited gifts into evolutionary tools. Take 3 deep breaths and let this new configuration settle into your cellular memory. From this moment forward, every ancestral gift you carry will serve your soul's mission in this lifetime. And every step you take into new territory will honor the foundation your lineage provided. Beautiful soul, you've just undergone a profound recalibration. Your ancestral codes are now aligned with your evolutionary purpose. But transformation without integration is just a powerful experience. Real change happens when you anchor these activations into your daily reality. For the next 7 days, you're going to practice what I call the Ancestral Evolution Protocol. This will help stabilize the new configuration of your genetic codes and begin manifesting your unique synthesis in the physical world. Day 1. Ancestral Acknowledgement. Write a letter to your lineage. Thank them for the specific gifts they've passed down to you, and share with them how you plan to evolve those gifts in service of your current mission. You don't have to send this letter anywhere. The act of writing it creates energetic communication across time and space. Day 2. Gift Inventory. Make a list of your natural talents and abilities. But for each one, ask yourself, how could this gift serve my soul's calling in an entirely new way? If you're naturally intuitive, how could that intuition serve your career transition? If you're artistically gifted, how could that creativity revolutionize your business? If you're a natural healer, how could those abilities transform your parenting? Day 3. Evolution Experiment. Take one of your ancestral gifts and deliberately apply it to something completely outside its traditional context. If you come from a line of teachers, try teaching someone something unexpected. If your lineage carried musical abilities, create rhythm in a non-musical project. If healing runs in your family, practice healing something that isn't a person. Day 4. Guilt Release Ritual. Notice any guilt or resistance that comes up around evolving beyond your family patterns. Write these guilt thoughts on pieces of paper, then burn them while saying, I honor my lineage by becoming what they made possible, not by repeating what they already accomplished. Day 5. Future Ancestor Visualization. Imagine yourself as an ancestor to future generations. What gifts are you developing that you want to pass down? What evolution are you creating that will serve souls who come after you? Feel yourself as part of the continuing story of your lineage, not the end of it. Day 6. Integration Practice. Choose one way to combine your strongest ancestral gift with your newest calling. If you're a natural counselor who's moving into business, offer heart-centered guidance to fellow entrepreneurs. If you're from a family of builders who's called to spirituality, create physical structures that support spiritual practice. Day 7. Celebration and commitment. Celebrate the unique synthesis you're creating. You are literally unprecedented. No one in history has combined your specific ancestral gifts with your particular evolutionary calling in exactly the way you're doing it. Make a commitment to honor both your inheritance and your innovation. Throughout this week, watch for signs that your ancestral codes are integrating with your evolutionary purpose. You might find yourself naturally knowing how to approach challenges in new ways. Old skills might spontaneously apply to new situations. People might start recognizing abilities in you that feel both ancient and completely fresh. You might also notice resistance from your own psyche, from family members, from societal expectations. This resistance is not a sign that you're going in the wrong direction. It's a sign that you're breaking new ground. Every evolutionary leap encounters resistance from systems that are invested in maintaining the status quo. When you feel that resistance, remember, you're not betraying anyone by becoming more than what came before. You're fulfilling the deepest dreams of everyone who contributed to your genetic lineage. Your great-great-grandmother, who was gifted with healing hands, didn't develop those abilities just for her own lifetime. She developed them so that you could inherit energetic sensitivity and apply it to healing whatever field you're meant to transform. Your great-grandfather, who was a natural leader, didn't cultivate those skills just for his era. He built that capacity so you could inherit the ability to influence and guide, and apply it to whatever revolution you're here to create. You are the answer to their prayers for what their lineage could become. You are the fulfillment of gifts they could only partially express. You are the bridge between their dreams and the future they couldn't even imagine. But you're also something unprecedented. You're what happens when ancient gifts meet evolutionary timing. You're what emerges when inherited abilities align with unprecedented opportunities. Trust this process. Trust your unique synthesis. Trust that you can honor your lineage by becoming more than they ever thought possible. As we close this integration experience, I want to surround you with the protection and empowerment of your entire lineage. Feel them all standing with you now, not behind you, pushing you toward the past, but beside you, supporting your evolution into unprecedented territory. See your ancestors forming a circle of light around you. They're not asking you to stay small to honor them. They're creating a force field of protection so you can become as large as your soul intended. They're not trying to limit you to their experiences. They're offering their strength so you can transcend every limitation they encountered. Feel their hands on your shoulders, their blessings on your forehead, their love surrounding your heart. They're saying, "We gave you these gifts not to repeat our paths, but to walk into territory we never imagined. We faced our challenges not to pass them on to you, but to transform them into strengths you could inherit. We lived our lives not as the final expression of our lineage, but as the foundation for your unprecedented becoming." Your grandmother's intuition becomes your ability to revolutionize whatever field calls to you. Your grandfather's strength becomes your capacity to hold space for transformation that serves thousands. Your ancestral line's creativity becomes your power to manifest realities that have never existed before. And now, feel yourself extending this blessing forward to generations yet to come. Feel how your evolutionary courage today is creating the foundation for even greater possibilities in the future. Feel yourself as both the beneficiary of ancestral gifts and the ancestor whose boldness will empower souls not yet born. You are part of an ongoing story of consciousness evolving through form. Your ancestors' gifts flow through you toward a future they trusted you to create. Your evolution honors both what came before and what's waiting to emerge. Walk forward into your week knowing that you carry not just genetic inheritance, but evolutionary mandate. You're not just gifted with ancestral abilities, you're empowered with evolutionary purpose. You're not just connected to where you came from, you're magnetic to where you're going. The tension you felt between past and future has been resolved into creative synthesis. The guilt about evolving beyond your lineage has been transformed into excitement about fulfilling their deepest dreams. The confusion about your path has been clarified into understanding of your unprecedented mission. You are honoring your ancestors by becoming what they made possible. You are serving your lineage by evolving beyond every limitation they encountered. You are fulfilling their gifts by applying them to purposes they could never have imagined. This is Elena, holding you in the light of your ancestors and the vision of your evolution. Until we meet again in the quantum field, remember, you are both the fruit of an ancient tree and the seed of unprecedented possibility. Go create the future your lineage was dreaming of. Go become what they made possible. And so it is.